please others chime in the chat if you'd like to ask a question as well. So I think, my first question was going to be stuff that you mentioned right on that last slide, actually, where, you've kind of focused on one aspect in terms of suggesting the buffer size and then, proofs and some interesting results there. Do you have, I guess, conjectures, guesses, ideas, thoughts about some of the impact and other things like fairness and loss?
Yeah, so we definitely ran some experiments with fairness and loss, and we saw a little bit of relationships with the buffer size there. Um, I think maybe one thing I'd like to mention, which we didn't really cover in the talk at all, is that normally when you're using networks, you care a lot more about like the application which is using the network. And we ran some experiments with video streaming, like with Netflix,
Oh, great.
and looked at how sort of changing the size of the buffers impacted stuff like rebuffers and video quality and things like this. And we saw some really weird results that we didn't understand at all, and basically didn't know theory at all about it. And it'd be, I think, super cool to try and understand like how buffer size relates to like an ABR algorithm, for
Oh,
instance.
that's interesting. So there's potentially some interactions there that would be interesting to look at further. Um, and then, the other question, which I'm sure you have thought about, is, the synchronization constraint, of course, or I guess assumption, sorry, is, maybe I guess you argued pretty convincingly satisfied in the sort of typical case, or at least, we might expect to be close to satisfied in the typical case. But of course, you want to be robust to the bad cases. And so, suppose your objective, your approach was followed, your small buffers were followed, and you ran into synchronization. Do you view this as something that the, protocols themselves could provide the robustness for, or is this something in the sizing that you could adapt to and get robustness? What would be the right kind of failure mode there?
Yeah, I think this was for us one of like the big open questions of the paper is like what is going on with this synchronization and like why does synchronization happen or not happen with any particular algorithm? We definitely think there's stuff you can do at the algorithm side to sort of enforce a lack of synchronization, especially by like adding randomness in the way you send data.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, we kind of don't have a sense of why it happens, and it'd be super interesting to understand that.
Oh, very cool. Okay, so with that, I think I don't see a question in the chat other than Danilo pointing out that there is another session just after this. So I'll give a few seconds.